Hey house guests, welcome to today's BB Can 6 updates and spoilers. Our house guest today is Peggy Reed. Peggy, thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it and hope you're having a great day. And if you guys want to be house guests today, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so last night Ryan was evicted by a vote of 6-0, and that means he's off to the jury house. Remember when Ryan was all like, I really don't want to be the first juror? Isn't that crazy? It just worked out for him to be the first juror. That sucks. But anyway, next week is a triple eviction. So this mythical triple eviction that they've been talking about for weeks now, probably like a month now at least, it's finally happening. What? Can you imagine if they didn't have one? That'd be crazy. But the episode ended with the HOH competition in progress. And when the feeds came back, we found out that Johnny won the HOH. We totally manifested that. Oh my god, because you know it's gonna be litty lit with Johnny as the HOH this week. Crazy. So when the feeds came back, Derek and Kaela were already up in the HOH room with Johnny, and turns out Johnny got to pick the have-nots for the week, and he picked them. Oh, it's Dayla in the catacombs. That sucks. They've both been have-nots, like, many times already this season. So, okay, the gist of this conversation. Dayla is trying to act like they were neutral all last week on who should go home. They're saying people were coming to Derek, telling him that they would vote however he wanted them to. But Johnny knows what's up. He, you know, did this for himself last week. He is the reason why he's still there. So he knows what really went down, and he's acting skeptical with them. He's like, so you guys weren't at any point pushing for me to go home. Dayla's denying it. So Kaela is like, everybody was pushing for you to go. And she says, you can bring everybody in here. Let's get everybody in the same room and hash it all out together. It'll be fun. Yes, it will. Oh, I love a house meeting. Okay, so Johnny leaves to go get everyone. Kaela and Derek are alone in the HOH room, and Kayla's like, you know what? At this point, we're going home. So whatever, we've got nothing to lose right now. So she says she's prepared to throw everybody under the bus, and if she's gonna go home, she's going to make a show of it, you know? She's going to go out with a bang. She's going to blow up some games here. And you know, they got a lot of info to spill after 2 weeks in the HOH room. The question is, will Johnny believe it? Because it's their word against, like, Paris, Maddie, and Will and all them, Allie and Liv. So it's, who can you even trust at this point? They've all lied so many times. So anyway, Johnny goes to get everybody. He goes to the White Room to get Maddie and Will. And Maddie immediately starts spilling. Before they even get to the house meeting, she's like, Dayla tried to make an alliance with me in Paris called 86, blah, 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 blah. And Johnny's like, all right, chill. We're going to go upstairs. Hold your horses. So, oh wait, I guess they already were upstairs. We're going to go to the HOH room. Hold your horses. So Johnny lets everybody know before they go in. Dayla is denying wanting me out last week. They want to get everybody in here. So, like, that's what this is all about. So, per Johnny's request, they all parade into the HOH room together, which was so funny. I don't know why. It was just, like, weird. Dayla was already waiting for them in there. So now, woo! It's officially time for the house meeting to begin. It's time for the butterfly of death to emerge from his cocoon. I even wore my cocoon cardigan today for this, just because. So anyway, Derek is like, all right guys, every single one of you came in here last week and told me Johnny's gotta go. And now I'm hearing that you're all claiming that Kaela and I were the only ones who wanted that. And they're all like, no, that's not what we said. So Allie's like, I decided 48 hours before the vote that I was going to keep Johnny. And Olivia's like, yeah, everybody was kind of like undecided up until the end. So Kayla's like, okay, well, did anybody come to us and tell us definitively how they were going to vote? A few of them were like, no, like not until the last day. So then Johnny is like, what the frig is going on here? He calls everybody out for being scared of Derek and Kaela, because I guess they were having a bunch of conversations before the feeds came back, and they were all throwing Dayla under the bus, like, yo, they wanted you out last week, but I love you. So now he's like, why is everybody being so quiet? So Kayla's like, they were all saying one thing to you and another thing to myself and Derek. So which one of us are they lying to? She says she's ready to call people out. Woo! Let's get this party started. So Kaela asked Johnny, what do you want to know? You know, I'm an open book right now. So there was some discussion, blah, blah, blah. Finally, Johnny asks, you know, was there any point last week where when you were bothered that I might potentially stay? So, again, Dayla's pretty much denying it. Liv and Allie are like, Kaela was more receptive to you staying, and she got on board before Derek. So then Derek kind of like, he's like, oh shit, I gotta say something here. So he's claiming he was never against it. He says that he was always on the fence. That is a lie, Maury. And Johnny's like, yeah, this just isn't matching up with what other people have told me. But again, nobody's speaking up because you're all afraid of Dayla. And Allie's like, why? Like, I don't get it. Why would we be afraid? And Johnny's like, I think you know, Allie. So he's like, I don't know, like, are you afraid of what they're gonna say in return, you know? So then Derek is like, all right, you want names? I got your names. He says, Will and Maddie both told me that they would vote however I wanted them to vote. So then Maddie starts explaining it with her Maddie way of like twisting things and like every little vowel and consonant. You know how she does. So she's like, no, like I said that I would vote however I want and blah, blah, blah. And Kayla's like, you told us that you would do whatever to prove that we can trust you. But Maddie's denying it. And then Derek's like, I love you, Paris, but you were the most pro Johnny go home last week. And Paris is like, Johnny knows that, okay? I made myself very clear to him and to everybody that it was bad for my game to keep him because he's so good at competitions, I can't beat him, and I had a really close relationship with Ryan. Okay, fair enough. So then Johnny asks, all right, Derek and Kaela, what were your conversations like with Liv and Allie throughout the week? I want to hear about that. So Kayla's like, well, they did approach us about keeping you, and that's when I got on board. So you can see the duos are kind of like looking out for each other here a little bit. So Will is like, well, if it wasn't for me, Maddie, and Paris, then Johnny wouldn't have stayed. So Will says, this conversation's stupid, and I'm going to go out for a smoke. Okay, number one, just run away like you always do. That is the Will way. Number two, deja vu. Because that is like almost the exact phrase that he was fed in the diary room when he was, you know, when they were talking about that Screech whatever task, but they didn't end up using it on the show. Were they like freaking programming him? Is this Westworld Big Brother? I don't know. But it was just like really weird that he said that after we heard that diary room leak. It was bizarre. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. So then after Will leaves, Johnny's like, all right, who do you guys think should be on the block this week? So they're all like, I'm not gonna throw out names right now. Talk to me later. But Kaela is like, look, everybody said that Johnny, you would be the #1 target moving forward. They all said that if they won HOH, they'd put you up with a pawn. So Johnny's like, who said that? When? What's going on? So Derek again is like, you want names? He said, Will said it this morning. It's how convenient that Will just left the room. But then he's like, yeah, plus everybody else. Everybody said it. Everybody's pretty much denying it, except for Allie, who's like, yeah, I said it, but like it was part of my campaign to get you to stay, because she was telling people, we're going to keep Johnny, and then we'll get rid of him in the triple. You know, that was actually part of her campaign that she was using. So then when Kaela hears Paris denying it, she gets really pissed. She's just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. No. She starts throwing Paris under the bus, hardcore, drives back and forth over her multiple times. So she's like, Paris was the one who told me that Johnny and Maddie were coming after me and Derek. Remember the whole Ryan plot from a few weeks ago? It's back. So she's like, Ryan told me that Maddie was the ringleader of that whole thing and that Johnny was the sidekick, and then Paris came in after and confirmed it. I remember that happening. Then Paris is denying it. She's like, no, that's not how it went down. She says that she told Kaela that Ryan was the one that came up with the plan and that Maddie and Johnny were like part of it or talking about it or whatever, which is like a half-truth, because that is what she told Kaela after she felt guilty for throwing Maddie under the bus the first time. Do you guys remember that? Because that's how I remember it. Remember, like, she talked to Derek and Kaela right before nominations, and it looked like Maddie was going to go up, and Paris just flipped it, like, but before that, she was saying, yeah, Maddie and Johnny were all over that. So she's getting really angry, trying to defend herself here, and then Kayla's like, Paris has thrown Maddie's name out a lot, over and over, and Maddie's like, as the person that's being spoken about, I'm going to cut this off. New topic. What? Okay, is that how this works? So they do move on to a different topic, which is like crazy, but I guess Maddie doesn't want any of her shit coming out, so she's just like, nope, moving on. So Kaela says she wants to spill more info, and she could blow up mad games right now, but she's afraid that if she ends up on the block this week, she's not going to get any votes to stay, so she wants to talk to Johnny privately. And everybody leaves except for Paris. She's like, no. You're just throwing around my name. I'm not gonna, like, let you talk to Johnny alone and just, like, slander me or whatever. So she wants to know what they're gonna talk about, so she stays with them. So then Kaela and Paris go back and forth about the freaking Ryan plot from weeks ago. And they are yelling, if not screaming at each other. It got very loud. So I had to turn my headphones down. So Kaela is saying, yes, Paris came in and confirmed that Johnny and Maddie were like running that shit. Paris is denying it. And I mean, it's the same thing over and over again. Then Paris is like, stop trying to get the target on my back because you're worried that you're going next. Do they both believe their own lies? Because they're definitely both telling like half-truths right now, I feel like. I would love, when this episode airs, for Big Brother to include like the flashback of the actual event, just like they did with Ryan with this same thing, because I need to see it. That was everything, so I hope they do it again. So eventually Paris leaves. She says she's going to talk to Johnny later. She said, I just want 5 minutes with you later. Fine. So then Kaela and Johnny were chatting alone, and Kayla's like, Paris is just getting heated because she had something with everybody and now it's all blowing up. You know, this is the first time that she's getting caught. So she says, Paris wanted you out because you're the only person that she didn't feel good with. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so then Kaela drops a bomb. She spills that Allie and Liv were the ones who told her that Johnny and Erica were talking about getting rid of her and Derek. He had to have known that already, right? But I don't know. He did seem like genuinely shocked about it. I don't know. So he confirms, like, yeah, I was talking about you guys, but so were they. This was not like a one-sided conversation here. So then Derek joins them. He confirms, yes, Allie and Liv were bringing us information, but then Kayla's like trying to clean it up a little bit. She's like, I don't think Allie and Liv were trying to throw you under the bus. It was more so them trying to give me a heads up because they didn't want me to go. Okay, sure. 6 of one, half dozen of another. So Johnny then brings in Allie and Liv to join them. So it's the two duos and Johnny up in the HOH room. And Johnny's like, what the hell, guys? Like, I'm really shocked that you were feeding Dayla information. And he does get quite heated later on in the conversation. He's like, I feel played because you guys were always talking about Dayla with me. I feel like you're baiting me and then bringing them this information when you were part of it too. So Allie's like, well, we found out that you and Erica didn't trust us, and I heard you were telling people that I was sketchy, and that wasn't cool. So Johnny's like, that was only during Erica's HOH week when it was Ryan and Marin up on the block and they were like disagreeing about things, but again, half truth both ways. So then I don't know, it just seemed like Dayla and Allie and Liv were like still looking out for each other in this conversation. They don't want to give up that 4 yet. They want to see if they can get Johnny to target Will, Paris, and Maddie this week. It's not looking good for that. But they're framing it that they were giving Dayla a heads up and they weren't trying to throw Johnny under the bus. Yes, but that was the direct result of you sharing that information. And it's not like you didn't know that was going to happen. Duh. So then Dayla is trying to deflect towards Paris. They're saying Paris has something with everybody. She's always sharing info with everyone. And she didn't even want to win this HOH because she's playing the middle. Apparently it came down to Paris and Johnny. And I guess Johnny was like, you're safe if you fall. So she fell like 5 minutes later and it was like super obvious. So anyway, enough of that. Back to Johnny feeling hurt that they were playing him. Come on, he's freaking playing this up. You know that. So, and like he hasn't done the same thing to other people. So he says, or sorry, he asked Allie and Liv, how often were you giving Dayla information? Was this like an ongoing thing? Was this a one-time thing? And Kaela's like, it was only during my HOH week. So Derek throws in, Paris also confirmed that you were targeting us. Get that Paris dig in there. The best part of this conversation was when Johnny asked, do you guys think that it was Derek's persuasion that kept me here this week? And Allie said, ooh, sorry, but no. So then Derek says, I hope though. So then they're like, you know what? There were conversations already in motion before this was brought to you, but good try, bud. So Dayla says they didn't know that things were already in motion because people were lying to them, and that's not their fault. Okay, so Johnny's like, okay, thanks for your candor. Get out. I need to hear from everybody else. So hugs. Goodbye. So then Johnny was alone with Allie and Liv in the HOH room, and he's like, I need to know, did you guys ever agree with me when we talked about Dayla having to go? Like, did you agree at all? And they're like, yes, yes. We didn't want to say it in front of them, but, you know, we're considering putting them up if there is a triple eviction. Come on. So Liv is then saying, like, Dayla has got named alliances with everybody else. We just had our thing with you and Erica and them or whatever. But, you know, they had named alliances, like this 86 thing that's coming out now. Like, what's that all about? So then Johnny's like, all right, well, just so you guys know, Dayla was more vocal about you guys before you came in. And Allie and Liv were like, yeah, we expect that, of course. Like, it'd be silly if they weren't. Of course they're going to throw us under the bus. Alright, so then Paris finally gets her time, her 5 minutes with Johnny. She's like, I had to wait like an hour. So she tells Johnny, just so you know, Derek did say that he wanted you out last week, okay? He's freaking lying. And Johnny lets her know, Dayla is throwing you under the bus more than anybody else. And Paris is pissed when she hears that. Ooh, especially at Kaela. More so Kaela than Derek, which is interesting because Derek is really throwing her under the bus as well, but she always seems to side with the guys more than she does the girls. She's just like one of those players. So, anyway, judging by this conversation and the few that follow, it seems like Johnny wants to move forward with Paris, Maddie, and Will. I mean, you can't really blame him because if you look at the two sides, competitor-wise, you'd want to go up against the weak ones, right? But at the same time, how much would it suck if he did go to the Final Four with them and somehow they managed to beat him in the competitions and send him home and then like Will, Paris, or Maddie won this season? Oh, maybe Paris, but Will or Maddie? Are you serious? So anyway, he's telling Paris like he was glad that he got the duos to go after each other. He thought that was fun to watch, and he had to pretend that he didn't know what was going on. It's just like, it's a lot. So then Johnny talked to Will and Maddie separately, but it was a similar conversation, so I'm just going to group them together. And he's talking about putting Dayla up on the block. But the issue is he wants Derek to go this week because he's better at competitions, he's calm, cool, collected, and people seem to like him. At least more than Kaela. I mean, people do like him. I guess he's, like, charming to some people or whatever. So, on the other side, everybody's like, oh, Kaela's such a bitch. But if a guy did what she does, he'd be, like, a master manipulator, wonderful game player. Right? So, anyway, he's worried that people are going to take out Kaela instead, but he can't just leave her off the block, because then if she wins the veto, she can save Derek. So, he, like, has to put them up together. But he's trying to figure out, like, could I still get rid of Derek, or are people just going to vote Kaela out? So he's still trying to figure that out. But Johnny lets Maddie know that he wants to go to the Final Four with her group. Again, in that scenario, how much would it suck if anyone other than Johnny won? Oh! Alright, so some quick deets about some of the other conversations Johnny had last night. He talked to Olivia. He wanted to know, would he immediately be cut if he went to the final 3 with Liv and Allie, and blah, blah, blah. Liv's like, no. She doesn't say, like, let's go to the final 2, but she says, I wouldn't necessarily get rid of you. She doesn't like the way Allie, like, dominates conversations, and it's a lot. So then, Derek talked to Johnny again, and he told him about the Real Deal Alliance, which was himself, Kaela, Jesse, and Paris. And he's, like, going on this anti-Paris tirade. He says that she throws everybody under the bus, and she's been feeding us info this whole time. He's not wrong, though. I mean, this is all true. So, today, Johnny had some conversations again with the trio. He's still saying the same stuff. He doesn't trust the duos, blah, blah, blah. But then when he was on his own, he was like, I can't trust anybody in here, which is true. You know, both sides are just like, Johnny's HOH, we gotta get him. So then the highlight of these morning conversations was Will saying that he's not a sheep and he does not run to power. What? Get out of here. All right, so then more Johnny talking about putting up Dayla. Again, he wants Derek to go, and if one of them came down, the replacement nominee would be Allie or Liv. What? I feel like he'd probably put up Allie over Liv, right? Because Allie was talking to him, and he was like, be honest with me. Would you try to take me out in the triple? Would you want to go to the end with me? And Allie was like, I feel like I can't beat you, so... Girl, what are you doing? Not the right answer. But anyway, Johnny picked Maddie for Wendy's, blah, blah, blah. They're supposed to have nominations later, so we'll see what happens. He is planning on putting up Derek and Kaela. Should be interesting. Should be an exciting night. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And until tomorrow, much love.